Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the M1911. Now, I've already done a review comparing the Magnum to the Rex, the 93R to the G18, and then also comparing the G17, the MP443, the M9, and the G17C together. So I've basically covered all the pistols except for the M1911. This one gets its own review because it definitely falls into a category different from the other pistols, because for starters it has a 9-round magazine, well, an 8-round magazine with 1 in the chamber, so you can have a total of 9 bullets. And that's far less than the other semi-automatic pistols, but a lot more than the 6-shooters out there. So it's got its own individual magazine capacity, and then it also has a different weapon damage of 34 per shot. Now that 34 maximum damage means that you're going to be dropping anybody in 3 shots as long as they're within 12 meters of you. The damage drop off starts at 12 meters and the damage goes all the way down to 14.3 out at 50 meters. So again, you know, this isn't going to be great at long range, just like all the other semi-automatic pistols. You know, long range is definitely a last resort, but it doesn't mean that this weapon is not capable of killing at long range. Now, the reload time is a little bit longer than the other semi-automatic pistols like the M9 or the MP443. Those guns reload at 1.35 seconds, which is insanely fast, meaning you can basically reload the gun without really having to think about it too much. The M1911 has a little bit longer reload time of 1.75 seconds, which clocks in a bit closer to, say, something like the M16A3 or the M416 assault rifles. So if you're used to those guns, you'll know that they reload very fast, but you still have to think about your reload time just a little bit. You can usually duck behind cover to get a reload off just in that 1.75 seconds. And that'll give you enough time just to get the reload off and then come back out shooting. So you can stay in the action very frequently with this weapon. The problem is those 9 rounds, you really have to put those to use, and sometimes you feel like you really need to spam this gun, and my recommendation would just be make sure you got your crosshair on target before you start shooting. Don't start shooting in anticipation of them maybe coming around a corner, missing 3 or 4 shots before they're even in line of sight, or just taking 3 or 4 really bad shots and then honing in. You need to make your shots count with this gun, because most of the time you're going to shoot all your bullets, you're going to reload, and then you're only going to have 8 rounds in a magazine as opposed to the 9. And that can be a little bit tricky to kill people with. Just don't miss your shots, because having 8 rounds in a magazine means that if I hit enemies with my first 6 shots, that's 2 kills right there. It's not counting headshots, of course, but that means I only have 2 bullets left. So if I'm only running with an 8-round magazine, I won't be able to kill that third opponent, assuming I don't get any headshots in there, which is pretty common actually with this gun. So you just gotta really put your ammunition in use, and frankly you're going to have to aim for the head if you want to make the best use out of this pistol. Now fortunately the M1911 actually has really good hipfire accuracy. If you're used to the hipfire on the Magnum, picking off headshots when shooting from the hip, you should have the exact same hipfire accuracy with the M1911. So that's great. Should make your job a little bit easier in those close quarter engagements. But the thing to worry about is that you can fire this gun a lot faster than the Magnum, so your spread is basically going to increase much faster. So unless the person is in extreme close quarters, I wouldn't recommend using hipfire unless you're ready to get very inaccurate with this gun and maybe go in for a knife kill if you miss your remaining shots. Now, as I mentioned, this weapon falling in between the Magnum class guns and the lighter semi-automatic guns, it does so with the rate of fire as well. The semi-automatic weapons like the M9 and the MP443 shoot at a rate of 400 rounds per minute, and that's basically determined on if you can click that fast. Most people can. I definitely can, and I can feel it when firing the gun. I can feel the difference between that and the M1911, which shoots at 333 rounds per minute. Now, this isn't a huge deal because the M1911 still outdamages the other pistols. It just means you have to be a little bit more accurate and a little bit less spammy. The M1911 is not something that I would recommend to a novice player by any means. It's easier to use than, say, a Magnum or a Rex in many cases, but it's harder to use than the M9. And when I say easier and harder, I mean It can be more rewarding if you are very accurate than the faster firing pistols, but if you're not more accurate, then it's going to be far less rewarding because you're going to have less shots to work with. It's going to get inaccurate the more you spam it, and your reload time takes longer. Now, to help out the M1911 in close quarters especially, I've thrown the tac light on here, and you have the option of either using a tac light or a suppressor. Suppressor, of course, if you want to run stealth and not pop up on that mini-map every time you use your weapon. But I use the tac light because it gives you that valuable, like, fraction of a second in close quarters where your enemy is probably trying to figure out the exact spot to aim on you, or they're just startled from the tac light. Whatever it is, you're going to need those fractions of a second in close quarters to line up your shots and make sure that you don't miss your shots. And you can see right there, I just missed 8 shots on that guy shooting from the hip. I should have just aimed down sights and not missed at all. So taking into all the stats of the weapon, how it fires, how many rounds you have, I think the M1911 functions best at medium pistol ranges. Close quarters, you end up in that spammy situation, missing a lot of shots. You just want to be in a good situation to aim down sights and line up your shots and get them at medium ranges where this gun is still a 3-shot kill. So at the very extent of the 12-meter area is probably one of the best places to use this gun. Because of its extremely limited ammunition capacity, this gun just doesn't do well with taking out multiple targets unless you pretty much just get lucky. So that's another thing why this weapon becomes better at medium ranges, because you can sort of control the engagement a bit more. If you see 2 guys running at you, you can peek out, kill one of them, peek back, reload, and you'll know you have enough time to reload before he happens upon your position. So that's it for the M1911 pistol review. If you like using a pistol at medium range engagements, it's actually a pretty good option. Ultimately, I'll probably still end up running with a machine pistol or my personal favorite, the 44 Magnum. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to rate it if you did, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.